Hey guys, Captain Lance here. I'm just going to go over quickly review just a short summary of my build for Lacerate Bleed Gladiator. This is basically what the tree ends up looking like. I pretty much am just grabbing life, the bleed nodes, and axe nodes. So I think this is pretty close to the most efficient I could get it for a good balance between damage and life. I ended up with 6.6k life, and when I'm bossing, I think I'm doing a couple million bleed DPS at least. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't actually thrown up the POB, but when I'm fighting bosses, it feels like a significant amount of bleed damage. So, yeah, that's basically the gist of my tree. Grabbing all the important bleed nodes, grabbing all the axe nodes. Not really traveling too much, just grabbing life, bleed, damage. Resolute technique, I guess, is my only keystone. That's because I'm not using crit or anything. It's just I want 100% hit chance, and that way I can always be bleeding. That's basically it. I don't think there's anything special. Oh, I'm also taking Crimson Dance because I basically am always stacking up to 8 bleeds on somebody, and that means I'm going to be hitting for, I think it's 280% damage rather than 70%. I think is what it is. I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember exactly, but basically super important for single target, and I don't even feel it when I'm mapping because I throw one Lacerate on a pack and they'll just explode. Which there's probably going to be some examples of that in the other video I post. But gear-wise, I went to basically build around these Blasphemer Grasp gloves. These are just get better the more Elder items you have equipped. So I have all Elder items equipped, so that way I get like 35 multiplier on my damage, I get another 160 life or so, and then on top of that I get remove ailments when I use a flask. So basically whatever ailments I don't get covered in my flasks, which I guess I was real lazy with flasks on this guy because all I have is some 2 curse flasks, Alliance Roar, and resists silver flask, but basically I never feel like I'm dying from bleeding or shocks or freezes, because basically if I feel like I have any ailments on me, I just spam my flasks and it'll take them all off. So it's a real kind of a convenience thing. The other thing you'll notice about my gear is it's mostly just not good. I threw a couple fossils at a few Elder items, and then once I got my resist cap, I'm like, alright, I'm just gonna test out my build and see how it does. And I never upgraded them, and it did fine because it absolutely murdered content, and I haven't upgraded it since. And frankly, if you put more time and effort into your gear than I did, you'd probably see this build absolutely destroying content. Probably a lot less deaths than I get. I just did Uber Elder, Shaper, all the Shaper Guardians, and I died twice throughout all that, and I have kind of trash gear. My belt's decent, but other than that, the gear really isn't that good. I guess the chest is decent too for life, but really nothing to go home and show to your friends. I crafted with jagged fossils on the helmet for enemies taking additional fizz. I tried crafting with corroded fossils for the ailment damage on my rings, and I got it once, and it just kind of was a waste of currency, and I could have crafted better rings if I just crafted for life. I got fizz and life on my amulet and crit chance, which doesn't do anything, so the amulet's pretty pathetic. You'll see I only have allocated Holy Dominion, which is this, which is honestly a pretty useless node. I could have easily allocated this for damage over time, multiplier, which would have been huge for damage on my build, but I was literally just capping resistances. So all that is to say is the gear is not good as far as this is concerned. What is good is my axe. I got super lucky with this axe. I was basically crafting with jagged and corroded fossils, and I hit the prefix tempered plus the bleed mod, and then a garbage prefix, and then the elder suffix fizz damage mod. So I was like, okay, I can save this axe if I beastcraft where I take off the prefix, add a suffix, and it took off the right prefix, and it slammed on what would have been tier 1 crafted attack speed for me. And I was like, that is an amazing axe. This ends up being a 600 PDPS axe plus the bleed mod, which is 60% more damage pretty much. So it would feel like if I had 1000 PDPS axe without the bleed mod is basically what it feels like. So the axe is insane. Everything else on my gear is complete and utter trash. For my ascendancy, I went with Gladiator for the more bleeding damage and the bleed explosions and the challenge charges. All this stuff is amazing for bleed. I lose a little bit on these two nodes here. It's basically, at first I picked Outmatch Outlast, and it just doesn't work. At first I was thinking, you know what, if I have a two-handed weapon, it would just consider it to be my main and my offhand, but instead it considers it to be neither. So this does nothing if you have a two-handed weapon, so don't pick that. This, I at least get attack speed and 40% damage if I haven't been hit recently, or haven't taken damage from a hit recently. So it's kind of like I have 6 nodes, but they're super valuable for what I'm doing. You can probably do this build with another ascendancy like Berserker, or what else would be good with it? Yeah, I think Berserker would be good for bleed. But I like Gladiator just for the bleed explosions. I'll give you a quick show of why that's good. Just gonna grab this. I'll get not too many bad mods, but this is the main reason you choose Gladiator. It's just these bleed pops. They just feel oh so satisfying. Just come over here, slash once, and everything just explodes. Almost get wrecked by that guy. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of the build. I'm basically gonna post a montage of this character because all the end game content I just did. If I spawn an Awakener, maybe I'll clip one, show me killing an Awakener with this guy, but that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions about the build or how to make it or anything, I have a Twitch I'm going to start streaming pretty regularly on called Captain Lance. I'll link it in the description. Actually, one thing I forgot, I should go real quick. Damage links for Lacerate Bleed. Brutality is one of the biggest damage links you can get. It's just all fizz. We're not doing any elemental, not any chaos, so it doesn't matter. Fortify, I pick up that because I want to be extra tanky. Multi-strike is, I think, the best damage link you can get, but it's basically the less damage part of multi-strike doesn't actually apply to bleed damage, so its only negative this gem has doesn't even affect our build, and we get the positives of the more damage plus the more attack speed. So this one's super important. If for whatever reason you have a bajillion X and you can afford Awaken Multi-Strike, it would be absolutely amazing. I end up buying Awakened Deadly Ailments and Swift Affliction specifically for the more multiplier on Swift Affliction, and this gets you 10% faster damage on ailments, which those are both super strong mods for bleed, and on top of there are already some best in slot links. They were about 100 C at the time when I bought them, so I justified them being worth it. That's pretty much it. Hope you guys have a good one. If you like the build, try it out, man.